In December 2024, FIFA awarded Saudi Arabia the 2034 World Cup. 15 stadiums, 5 cities, 48 teams, the first single-nation host of an expanded World Cup. There was one detail in the FIFA evaluation report that nobody in the coverage highlighted. 8 of those 15 stadiums do not exist yet. And as of July 2026, architects have been told to resubmit designs because costs are too high. Contractors have been told construction start dates are delayed. One firm has been warned it could lose its contract if it doesn't make significant cuts. Saudi Arabia has 8 years to build 8 stadiums. It hasn't started yet. It is also running out of money to pay for them. To understand what Saudi Arabia committed to in December 2024, you need to understand what the FIFA evaluation report actually said. FIFA scored the Saudi bid at 4.2 out of 5, higher than the US, Canada, and Mexico bid for 2026, which scored 4.0. That sounds like a resounding endorsement. What the report also said, the Saudi bid carried a medium level of risk. The US, Canada, and Mexico bid carried a low level of risk. The difference? Every stadium in the North American bid was already built, every single one. Saudi Arabia's bid included 15 venues, 8 of which have not been constructed. FIFA's own evaluation noted that due to the overall scale of the stadium projects, as well as the novel designs and configurations proposed in some cases, there is an elevated risk profile. FIFA approved the bid anyway. They noted that Saudi Arabia had a strong team in place and ample time to deliver on the projects. Ample time, December 2024 to November 2034, 10 years. But here is the construction reality that was not in the FIFA evaluation. Saudi Arabia is simultaneously building or attempting to build NEOM, the Jeddah Tower, Qiddiya Entertainment City, Expo 2030 infrastructure, and now 15 World Cup stadiums, plus 132 training venues. All of it financed by the same sovereign wealth fund. All of it competing for the same pool of architects, engineers, contractors, and construction workers. And as of 2026, that sovereign wealth fund has cut spending by at least 20%. The ample time assumed a level of financial capacity that Saudi Arabia currently does not have. Therefore, the 8 stadiums that do not exist are not simply unbuilt. They are unbuilt in a country where the money to build them is already being rationed between projects that were announced years before the World Cup bid was even submitted. The Guardian's reporting in December 2025 was specific and damaging. Several architecture firms awarded contracts to design World Cup stadiums had been asked to resubmit plans because their designs were deemed too expensive. Contractors who expected to begin construction in 2026 were told the start dates would be delayed. One firm was warned it could lose its contract entirely if it did not produce significant cost savings. The Public Investment Fund's response was notable. PIF described the situation as business as usual, normal cost reviews in a project with 9 years remaining. That framing is worth examining. In project management, the critical path of a major stadium, design completion, planning approval, enabling works, structural construction, MEP installation, fit out, testing, typically takes 5 to 7 years for a venue with more than 40,000 seats and novel architectural features. Saudi Arabia's novel stadium designs include cooling systems that have never been deployed at this scale, structural geometries that have no precedent in existing venues, and site requirements that in some cases involve building on terrain that requires significant preparation. A stadium that begins detailed design in 2026 and breaks ground in 2027 needs to be complete by 2032 at the latest, to allow time for test events, FIFA inspections, and the operational rehearsals that every World Cup host runs in the years before the tournament. That timeline is now at risk for the stadiums whose architects were still being asked to resubmit designs in late 2025. The most acute case, the NEOM Stadium. The original design placed a venue with 45,000 seats on top of the line's infrastructure. The line is suspended. The stadium that was supposed to sit on top of a 170-kilometer city is now planned on top of a 2.4-kilometer foundation that has no confirmed completion date. FIFA reportedly has contingency plans. If NEOM is not ready, those matches go to Riyadh and Jeddah. But a World Cup stadium that moves from a futuristic linear city to a conventional urban venue is not the same product that FIFA sold to the watching world when Saudi Arabia's bid was approved. Stop for a moment, because this story has a detail that connects it directly to everything we have covered on this channel. Saudi Arabia is not just behind on the stadiums. It is now trying to sell one of them to raise money to pay for the rest. In July 2026, 7 months before the Aramco Stadium is supposed to host its first match, Reuters reported something that had not appeared in any previous coverage of Saudi Arabia's World Cup preparations. Roshan Group, the state-backed developer building the Aramco Stadium in Al Khabar, has appointed J.P. Morgan to explore selling an equity stake in the venue. The Aramco Stadium is one of only 3 World Cup venues where construction has actually started. It is a 47,000-seat stadium expected to be complete by the end of 2026. Saudi Aramco will operate it under a 25-year concession, and Saudi Arabia is trying to sell part of it before it opens. The stated reason: to release capital for other projects under Vision 2030. This is the clearest single data point about Saudi Arabia's financial position in relation to its construction commitments. A country with hundreds of billions in sovereign wealth fund assets is seeking outside investors for a 47,000-seat football stadium because the demands on that fund are so extensive that a partially built World Cup venue is being monetized to fund other priorities. Oil revenues that were supposed to fund the entire Vision 2030 transformation have not materialized at the level the plan assumed. The price per barrel that Saudi Arabia needs to balance its national budget has not been consistently achieved. The price needed to fund all announced projects simultaneously is further away still. The World Cup stadiums were announced as a demonstration of Saudi Arabia's ability to build world-class infrastructure. The Aramco Stadium is now a demonstration of what happens when you announce more than you can fund. Saudi Arabia's World Cup stadiums have one engineering requirement that Qatar's 2022 venues also faced and struggled with: cooling. The 2034 World Cup will be played in November and December, when Saudi temperatures are lower than summer peaks. But lower than summer in Riyadh still means outdoor temperatures in the high 20s to low 30s degrees Celsius. For a venue with 92,000 seats, like the planned King Salman International Stadium, the largest in the tournament, maintaining a playing environment suitable for elite football requires cooling at a scale that has no direct precedent. Qatar's solution for 2022 was stadium-specific cooling systems. The energy consumption was substantial. The systems worked, but at a cost that Qatar's wealth could absorb without visible strain. Saudi Arabia is building 15 venues. The cooling requirements across 15 stadiums, plus 132 training venues, represent an energy and infrastructure commitment that is orders of magnitude larger than Qatar's 8-venue solution. The cooling systems for Saudi Arabia's novel stadium designs have not been independently assessed for feasibility at this scale. The architectural firms designing the venues are simultaneously trying to reduce costs at the request of the PIF, and cooling systems are among the most expensive elements. The tension between cost reduction and the engineering requirements of a comfortable stadium in a desert climate is a problem that the resubmission process is asking architects to solve. Whether it can be solved at the cost level PIF wants in the time available for 15 venues simultaneously is a question that has not been publicly answered. The 2034 World Cup will feature 48 teams, 104 matches, 15 venues, 5 cities, 39 days. For that to happen, here's what Saudi Arabia needs to deliver by November 2034. 15 stadiums operational and FIFA certified, 132 training venues complete, transportation infrastructure connecting 5 host cities, hotel capacity for hundreds of thousands of visitors, airport infrastructure capable of handling the traffic. As of August 2026, 3 stadiums under construction, 8 not yet started, 1 stadium being sold to investors before it opens, the NEOM venue with no confirmed timeline, architects being asked to reduce costs on designs not yet approved, contractors being told start dates are delayed. Qatar built 8 stadiums for 32 teams. It took 12 years, cost over $200 billion in total infrastructure, and generated sustained international criticism over labor conditions. Saudi Arabia is building 15 stadiums for 48 teams in 10 years, while simultaneously building the world's tallest skyscraper, a series of scaled-back mega projects, and an entertainment city, with a sovereign wealth fund that is cutting spending, selling stadium equity to investors, and asking architects to resubmit designs because costs are too high. The World Cup will happen. FIFA has too much invested in it for the tournament to be canceled or relocated. But the gap between what was promised in December 2024 and what will exist in November 2034, the stadiums that won't look like the renders, the venues that will be simpler than the bids, and the NEOM stadium that may not exist at all, is the story of Saudi Arabia's construction ambition, meeting the same reality it has met everywhere else. The bid was won. The stadiums have not been built. The money to build them is already being shared with other priorities. Drop it below. Do you think the 2034 World Cup happens as planned? See you in the next one.